Good evening, everyone. This is Pineleaf Niels, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO, and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Well, right now, everything seems to be going fine, but I might be getting a little bit of snow here, but not as much as they're going to be getting at Turbine. And I hear that there are going to be some phone closures as a result of that.
You, sir, are the master of the segue. I bow down to you. Why, yes, they are, finally. Old Blue posted on the forums about some tech support phone closures. He says, "Hey, everyone. As many of you are aware, the Northeast is preparing for a potentially historic blizzard expected to start tonight and last into Wednesday. In order to ensure the safety of our customer support agents, we will be closing down the phones early today, Monday the 26th, and they will not be available tomorrow, Tuesday the 27th. The phones were actually scheduled to be closed on Wednesday the 28th for a company meeting. However, if the weather is bad as expected, there is always the possibility that the closures may be extended. He apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause. If you need to contact account support, please try to call as early as you can today, which you're late for that because they're already closed. And they'll do our best to answer your call today, so I'm sure they did what they could do. Even when the phones are not available, though, you can always contact them via email and fill out a support ticket on the website."
I think it's rather interesting that the name of the person who posted that was called Cold Blue.
Yes, there was a little bit of irony in there.
Yes. And in addition to the ice from Real World, there is also some ice games in the Midwinter Festival, which are back.
They are. Everything is frozen over, especially the village of Evening Star. If you have been there, it's like icy and snowy, and it's crazy. But there's
like Boston.
Yeah, exactly. But there's ice skating. You can ice skate, and you can ice skate up of a ramp and go flying through the air and do tricks. It's amazing stuff.
It looks like there is also going to be some skating in the harbor and at House Fee.
Yes, correct.
Unfortunately, the game has been a little bit stubborn in letting me log in today, so I have not had a chance to check this out yet.
And also, don't forget, as you're questing around in game and you come across any fire elementals and you kill those will have the chance to drop coins. So make sure if you happen to see any fire elementals to kill those to get some coins to trade in for some cool cookies. And you never know what you're going to get.
All right. At a winter festival, you want to kill a fire elemental.
It's logic, Pineleaf. It's logic.
I mean, I want to stay near it so I get warm.
Okay, it's turbine logic there.
All right, very well. And we also have DDO Chronicle issue 26, where looks like we have a nice picture of a snowman there. So they're continuing this nice cold winter theme with it.
See, it's their fault. Snow apocalypse is upon us.
It is their fault. All right. And they are talking about all sorts of fun stuff, including things that have already passed, such as the last of the Shroud Paloozas. And unfortunately, the Shroud Palooza, of course, was starting at the same time that I had a rehearsal, so it's like I never got into that.
I actually watched a little bit of it. I watched it for about 45 minutes. It was pretty fun. There was a lot of people in the chat, and it was a good time.
All right, then. And anything else interesting in the Chronicle?
Yes, DDO Cast, the latest. Actually, it's not the latest episode anymore because there was an episode that came out before this. But in the Chronicle, they talk about the debate episode where they have several guests on, and they're featuring a debate about different aspects of the game. It was a pretty nice listen. I enjoyed it a lot. So I encourage you to go ahead and listen to that. In the latest episode of DDO Cast that was released, I do believe it came out on Sunday, is Ask the Devs, where several of the devs are on, and we find out some pretty cool information from 3 or 4 of the devs, so listen to that as well. We got a shout out for our episode 16.
Oh, at this time, it did not have some misleading information in it.
Well, what were they going to do with that title?
Okay, yes, okay, you got a point there.
The damsels of DDO are heading into the Stormhorns. Actually, they did head into the Stormhorns, so go ahead and click on there to watch that. Ed Reek has a pretty cool new blog post up, so check that out on his blog. And let's see. They talk about the Rizia Ice Games and the Midwinter Festival starting, which we talked about. And the screenshot is...
Yeah, where is that from?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
In a planetarium or something.
Yeah, it actually doesn't say, so I'm not sure where that's at.
Yeah. Storm Reach Planetarium, right? Let's see. Maldwin explores the mysteries of time and space in our 206th DDO screenshot of the week. So it just says the mysteries of time and space. Doesn't say where this is.
Pretty cool screenshot, though.
All right, then. Let's head into the sales. Is there anything interesting on sale this week?
Well, the free sample of the week, imagine this, is a Midwinter Spirit token. Use coupon code COLD23. Once again, COLD23. And you get 2 of those per account. And if you don't know what the Spirit tokens are used for, they're sort of similar to the Universal Challenge tokens. You will need them to play the minigame in Evening Star. You can talk to an NPC there, and you can get free ones. Free players receive 2 per day. Premium players receive 3 per day. And VIP receive 4 tokens a day. But with this coupon code, you can get 2 extra codes. Also in the store, 20% off. Shared bank storage. Yay for more storage. Character bank upgrades, storage bags, and the shared bank platinum vault. So it is a great time to get storage this week as it is on sale at 20% off. Always good to see that on sale.
All right, very well. And looks like that the Winter Riesa Ice Games are on from January 23rd until February 15th.
Yes, so you have plenty of time to enjoy killing fire elementals and ice skating.
Right. So let's go into the site news. And the screenshot of the week, it looks a little bit familiar, even though it's not one of ours. It's from somebody else.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how this is happening. Ed Reeks sent this in again, of course, from Ed Reeks' blog. And the past 2 screenshots he sent in have been content we or myself have been running through. So it's almost like he's stalking us in-game and finding out where we're at and then taking screenshots.
The truth comes out.
That's right. This screenshot, he says, Edric preparing his thoughts for Ghola-Fan's compound, and he's kind of setting down. It looks like he's meditating on the long bridge that leads up to the compound of Ghola-Fan. So that was a pretty nice screenshot. If you have some screenshots you would like to see featured on our site, go ahead and email those to us at podcast@ddoplayers.com. Once again, podcast@ddoplayers.com, and we might feature your screenshot on the site.
All right, very well then. And we have a new arcane adventure of Dorfin Fizzlebeard, who has decided that he wants to create some mayhem by wrecking boxes, it looks like.
It's always fun to wreck boxes.
Oh, yes. Sometimes I think it's the name of the game. It's not Dungeons & Dragons Online, it's Boxes and Breaking Online.
It does seem like that at times, doesn't it?
All right, very well. And that's it for our site news. So let's go into news beyond DDO. And the first piece is that the Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master screen for 5th edition is now officially out. In other words, before I think you were able to get it through some limited source channels, but now it's out for general distribution. And I heard, though, that you are holding out and getting it.
I am. I was going to order it off of Amazon, but I am going to be at a game convention in a few weeks called Winter Fantasy, and I decided I would just wait to pick it up there. We're actually going to be covering that on the blog as well. You'll see a bunch of posts, and I'm going to interview some people from Wizards, and it should be a fun time, so look for that in a few weeks as well, but I'm hoping that one of the vendors there are Wizards themselves. We'll have this, and I will just pick it up. I like the back cover of it. It looks pretty cool. It's got a big red dragon on it. I've seen mixed things online about reviews for it. Some people like the artwork, but they don't like the tables that are in it. I've also seen there's a few places where you can download new tables to print out that people have made and fit them so you can just tape them right on the screen and it fits perfectly on them. They think maybe they have some tables they want more than what's on here, but so I will review it when I pick it up and let you know what I think of it.
Well, I think this is not the first time that's been the case. I think there are always people who disagree with what the ideal set of tables are to put onto the DM screen.
You can't please everybody, Pineleaf.
Right. I remember one time someone had created a generic GM screen so that you could put all the tables you want in there that you wanted in there and not worry about buying a specific one for a specific game or anything like that because they never have the ones that you really want anyway.
You gotta kind of wonder, though, like, how is the thought process for that on what panels to put on a screen? Because there's so much information that a DM would need at his fingertips. How you can't fit it all on the screen? So how are you going to narrow it down? I'd like to set it on one of those meetings.
Yes. So I think one thing for me to do is to try to compare what the official ones are, which you'll find out if and when you're able to get one, and compare that to what these custom ones are doing and see if we can understand the thought process of both sides to see why Wizards thought one way and these people thought another way.
That is a really fine idea that you had, Pineleaf. I think I smell an article in the making.
All right. Then let's go into another thing announced by Wizards, and that has to be the storyline for the Temple of Elemental Evil and an announcement of the products. And based on what they're saying here, it looks like that the denizens of the Temple of Elemental Evil are tired of the citizens of Greyhawk destroying their temple, and they have called upon the magic of the plains to move it to the Sword Coast.
Well, how rude of them.
Yes. But just like an evil deity to go and move it to a completely different universe to pester a new group of people.
Yes, everybody knew this was coming, but this is actually the official launch of it. Of course, it's going to be for levels 1 to 15, which is pretty interesting. Everybody seemed to thought that it was going to start at higher level. So it's good to see this mod is kind of be like the old one, and it's going to cover lower levels as well.
Yeah, I think the old one was 1 through 12, was it, or was it 1 through 15?
1 through 12, I think you're right.
Yeah, okay.
I'd have to grab mine off my shelf to make sure, but that sticks in my head that I think you're correct. But wait, Pineleaf.
Oh,
there's more.
There's more.
There is more. Are you sitting down, Pineleaf?
Okay, I will sit down.
Okay. They are bringing out a board game. That's right. I said a board game. If you're familiar with the Castle Ravenloft board game, it's similar to that. The Castle Ravenloft one was based on 4E, which, I named it. That shall be renamed Nameless, and I just named it. I'm not sure what's going to happen now. Bad things are going to happen.
Well, I know, but they said, though, that this is going to be fully compatible and can be combined with the ones like Castle Ravenloft. Does that mean that this is going to be based on 4E then?
I hope not.
Because that's the thing that scares me.
Yeah, I see. I chose to block that out when I read that. I'm
like,
I didn't really read that. I just...
Okay.
No.
I will hope that you are correct in not reading it that way.
But yeah, I'm not sure how they didn't really release a lot of information on it, but...
Now, if they manage to make it compatible with 5E, but still be compatible with Castle Ravenloft, does that mean there are ways then to tweak Castle Ravenloft so it works with 5E?
Officially, I hope it comes out. But there's a lot of people that have already done that. And I've been thinking about taking the board game and trying to change some of the rules on it for 5e to see if that would work, but that just seems like an awful lot of work.
Well, okay, so you're not going to try to do what Black Belt Gaming did.
Yes, that's to do that. I will link that in the show notes as well.
Yes.
That is a pretty sweet little series he's got.
So, he ran a little adventure, a little 5e adventure using the components from Castle Ravenloft.
So that is set to release in March, so I'm sure we'll be getting some more information soon about that. But if you haven't played any of the board games, they are super fun. They are amazing.
Well, I have not bought any of the board games because they're based on 4E. I know that's a big hurdle to cross.
That's my only problem with them. But I think the thing I like most about them is they have a real dungeon crawl feel to them, and it can get really, really nasty and evil really quickly.
And you don't need a controller like you need in Descent?
No. It's all based on the cards that you flip over and your tiles. I mean, it can get, your party can get overwhelmed. Basically, I've seen it happen in Ravenloft where we have gotten overrun on like the third tile and we've died because it just got that nasty with some effects that were in play and the monsters that were in play. So it's a really nice system. So I can't wait to see what they do with it for the temple. And also, we forgot to mention 5e-wise, there's going to be a free download in mid-March that is going to include some new races, plus new player content available for Temple of Elemental Evil, and that is just in time when the Adventure League is going to start up for Elemental Evil. So you can get a free download and get some new player races, which is always a good thing.
All right, then. Then let's head into our week in DDO. And what did you do this week?
I did a bunch of stuff. I mean, a ton of stuff. I had a busy week in DDO this week. Let's start with my rogue, who reached level 12. And that, of course, is my pure rogue, which I have decided I'm going to stick it with just a pure rogue. I'm not going to splash anything else in, and I want to see how that works. So far, it's pretty good. I basically spent most of my time out in the sands of Menectrian, and I actually ran around with our guest last week, Bonnie Boo, because I found out she happens to play on Caneth, which is our home server. So we teamed up and we did a bunch of quests out there. We did the Chamber of Rayam, an Offering of Blood, and the Chains of Flame. They were all pretty sweet quests. The Chains of Flame was long. Oh, it was super long. But it was really nicely laid out. I liked how it was laid out. It was kind of challenging as well, too, but we managed to do it. And in the process of doing those, why actually I ran those 3, is that's what you need to get flagged for the Demon Queen raid that is out there. So I can now run that raid. Haven't ran it yet, but I'm flagged for it, so I can hop in sometimes and do that. I also have been working on, of course, my Slayers and all that out there. But the main thing I've been doing in the Sands of Menectrian is I've been running the rare bosses that hopefully spawn when I go out to get the chest. I'm mainly trying to get the longbow that drops from the one chest against one boss. I haven't had it drop yet. I've had the boss, I think, 3 times, but of course, the RNG loves me so much that it, never gives me the bow out of the chest.
Of course not.
But one of these days I'm going to get that bow. That's a pretty awesome bow, so I've been looking forward to that. Let's see. That's really about all I did on that rogue. My level, actually, it wasn't on my rogue, it was on my ranger rogue is what I did this on. But I bought my first airship for my guild.
Ooh.
So now...
Is it as empty as my airship?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and my bank account is now empty, too. I have no money left. It took all of my platinum to buy this airship. So now I have this cool airship with absolutely nothing on it, but hopefully pretty soon I can get some of the buffs and stuff to put on there. So if any of my kinmates are listening, start putting money in the guild bank so we can get amenities for the airship. Hint, hint. My Ranger Rogue, who is level 10, of course, quested with you, and I will let you talk about that like I always do.
All right, very well. We decided to go to the Restless Isles and to bring back the head of Ghola-Fan. Now, where have I heard that name before? Yes, that's right. That's why we thought that the screenshot of the week was appropriate. Because
I'm telling you, we have a stalker, Pineley.
We have a stalker. So went in there and ran that quest. And Bonnie gave me the impression that it was a relatively easy quest. Apparently, she has a different definition of easy than I have.
Well, see, she forgot she was talking about us.
Yes, okay. Because it took us the entire 2-hour session to do that one quest.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy intense. Well, half of that time was just getting out to the stupid thing. Holy cow.
Well, there is that.
It's crazy how much you got to go down and up and take elevators and run across bridges
over the river and through the woods. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. But it went okay once we were in there. Other than I think I died one time, but that was
I think I remember something going wrong once in there.
Yeah, that was because my stupid cleric hireling decided to be a hireling and just stand there and not do anything. And I'm yelling, yo, dude, I'm dying over here. Heal me. Okay. Oh well, too late. You're dead. I'll res you though. Gee, thanks. If you would have healed me in the first place, you wouldn't have to res me. Just saying.
Oh, well. Very well. Also, on my 4th level barbarian, the permadeath character, I did several quests inside of the harbor. Dirk's Got a Secret, Haverdasher, the Kobold's New Ringleader, the Kobold's Den, Clan Gnashtooth, and the Kobold's Den rescuing Arlos. And I think I had a permadeath character that once got killed doing rescuing Arlos. I think it was my paladin maybe that got killed doing that quest. So
I was going to bring that up because I'm pretty sure that was the one where you said your paladin died. So you did it successfully this time.
Yeah, I did it successfully this time. I made sure I didn't get myself killed trying to rescue Arlos. So therefore, I'm done with that, and that means that since I hit level 4 after finishing the waterworks, that means I can go in and do the Sharn Syndicate next.
I love that quest line.
Right?
That's one of my favorite quest lines. But now, why do you think you survived this time? Was it your strategy, or do you think it was because you were on a barbarian versus being on a paladin?
If I remember correctly, on the paladin... Oh, that's right. There was a room in there in the Clan Gnashtooth where the cleric, my NPC cleric, took a real beating and got killed when I was with the...
Oh, the room with all the archers?
Yeah, with all the archers and all that stuff.
Yeah, that room.
And therefore, I managed to handle it a little bit better and get up to them and distract them, and my cleric barely survived that one. I had a rule for that one that I could not because I was on the PD character, I decided that I could not regain my cleric when I entered the next half of the dungeon because it was the 2 dungeons were connected. You didn't leave and come back in. Instead, they were connected to one another. And I said that, all right, I could not say that, unless I went out and went back in, I would not be able to go and get my cleric back because that's my rule, for my PD rules.
Okay.
So therefore, my paladin did rescuing Arlos without a cleric, and I don't think I've found a rest shrine anywhere around there or anything like that. So I think that's the reason why paladin got killed. In other words, being lawful stupid.
Or being a meat shield, whichever you prefer.
Or being a meat. All right.
Or I guess more a pincushion would be more apropos.
Yes. So that's... Yeah, Clan Gnashtooth is a quest that's going to probably kill a couple of characters or something like that, because it's a real nasty quest when you go through there. I also decided to start my characters that I plan to use for Temple of Elemental Evil. I'm going by the assumption right now that the Temple of Elemental Evil is going to start at level 5. And that'll be a reasonable place to start. If they start at level 3 or 4 instead, I think even if I'm level 5, it's not going to be too much of a problem. And if they started a couple of levels higher, then at level 5, I think I'll be a high enough level that I could quickly get to the level that they're looking for. And this is an artificer that's loosely based on a character that I did in 3E for the Temple of Elemental Evil. And the reason why I was loosely based on it is that the 3rd E character was a rogue wizard. And it really didn't feel right being a rogue wizard because the character's rogue background came from being a locksmith, not from thieving. So therefore, I decided an artificer would fit the character a little bit better. And so therefore I did the early stuff, the Grotto, Hayton's Rest, Caneth Crystal, Storehouse's Secret, and then the Collaborator. Actually, I think I also did one more quest. The first quest that you get in Korthos Island. I think I went out there and did that one also, which was, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Redemption. I'm pretty sure I did Redemption also. I also created a Purple Knight, and thinking that I might be able to use this for the Shroud Palooza if I could work with it. I spent about half an hour on the Purple Knight and decided I didn't like the class.
Okay, then.
It was, I don't know. I went to the thing where the early parts of the quest where you try to unlock the shroud and going into the area and going to the town where you pick up the quest to do that, and I just decided, I'm sorry, I cannot go through this 13th Eclipse chain with this character. That was just it. And at the same time, I suddenly remembered, of course, I had a concert at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and I had another podcast that I do, at 5 o'clock. I said, when am I going to be able to participate in the Shroud Palooza, even if I did get the character up? So I decided not to bother, and I don't think I'll ever roll another Purple Knight. I just didn't like the character.
Somewhere, Pineleaf, a dev that created that class is crying.
Well, I think it's probably because you start at level... I think it's partly because you're starting at level 15.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I know I've had that problem on my Shandarkai. I think it's better that you start level 1 and kind of learn the class other than just getting thrown in, because I was really, really overwhelmed on my Shandarkai as well until I got used to it, and now I kind of know the class and I know the skills that I have, and I kind of tweaked it a little bit, so it's kind of more to my liking. So the iconics are kind of those that I think you either love them or you hate them.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, and I'm not much into dwarves.
Who is?
Yes, and since the Purple Knight is a mandatory dwarf.
Well, that means I'll never roll one.
Right. So therefore, Purple Knight is automatically a dwarf, and I don't know if it's based on fighter or paladin. I wasn't quite sure which was based on. So
I do believe it's supposed to be a fighter.
Right. So therefore, dwarven fighter is not exactly the thing that's going to get me all excited. So sorry, I decided to pass on the Purple Knight. All right. We did not have any donations this week, but if you'd like to help DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players News, or even be able to be a guest host with us. We also did not receive any iTunes reviews, but we would love your support. But we do have a featured comment where MOK left a comment on the Temple of Elemental Evil board game. Yeah, awesome! Love the adventure system games. This will be an instant purchase. My only qualm is that the system itself is very deadly. Crazily so. Just wondering, since it will be the Temple of Elemental Evil, by name only, it will be more deadly yet again. Maybe give options for leveling characters playing by more than just levels 1 and 2 as a suggestion, please?
Yeah, I would have to agree with Mock. I can't think of even, like I said, Ravenloft is deadly. I can't imagine how bad Temple's going to be, because we all know how bad Temple is. If you've ever ran through the Temple mod, you know how crazily deadly that can be if you're not on the top of your game. So yeah, this board game is going to be insane, I think.
All right. If I remember correctly, just the Moat House was insane.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, this week we did not receive any emails, but we would love to hear from you, and you can email us at podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Neils, and the Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. United States Eastern Time. On Mondays, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays, we have Lotro Players News. And 8:30 p.m. is also server time, Eastern Time and server time. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to loot those treasure chests.